Let's count your blessings.
Amen. Let's get that focus on 100%.
I'm coming out the gate kicking. For a target I see, I know I ain't missing. Yeah, you see them with me, we on the same mission. To connect with the Father and get out of this prison. I'm feeling funny vibes, I guess they love judging. I've been different since day one, my spirit ain't budging. That's above your budget, nah ain't no discussion. They just talk a lot, I'ma show them something. God to cure the pain, that's Lion's Mane. Cause what you gonna do when it's time for rain?
We need to search for God diligently, you know what I'm saying, as young black men, because we're in a very awkward space, and we've been in an awkward space for a long time, and after a while, it's just like, yo, why are we here? And then think about it, we done tried everything we could try on the book. We tried pimping, we tried being gangster, we tried we tried killing each other, we tried it, all the extremes you could think of. We tried to have sex till I had 10 baby mothers. You know, we tried to believe in you know, whatever was going on in society. We tried this, we tried that. We did everything but really sit there and diligently search for God, like for the miraculous things that happened to us, and really pay attention to it. We didn't do that. We did everything else though, literally. You know, we tried every other, like you said, culture. We talking about culture, right? We tried every culture, but to really diligently look for, like, yo, where is God at? What's going on? Because clearly there's something more going on than just meets the eye. You know what I'm saying? I think all of us have accepted that, and even the most hood person in the world.
Know that something's going on, for sure. Like, you know, if you're a person that relies on instincts, you could feel it. You could feel what's going on out here. My cousins is extremely hood. I was having a conversation with one of them not too long ago, and you know, he don't be speaking on God. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about whatever's going on in his world. But he was like, yo, something about to pop, something going on. And I was like, oh, where you feel that? Because I wasn't used to having these type of conversations with him. And he was like, yeah, you don't feel that? And I was like, yeah, no, I feel it, but I want to hear what you feeling. And he was like, I don't know, just, you know what I'm saying? He a bouncer, so he's like, he only move on instincts. He could tell when the club feel funny. You know what I'm saying? Like just something in the night that you smell something in the air, like, yeah, something gonna go down tonight. You know what I'm saying? So he got that instincts that he could sniff it out. He said something about to happen. You know, I was like, all right, spirit tingling. You know, glad it's touching you and you can hear it and feel it. You know, pay attention to it and move by it. You know, so but yeah, we gotta pay attention to it. You know.
Right. So before we get into the next question, I know you want to touch on design. I want to ask you, Shani, what something you learned while working in your atmosphere, in that realm, on the radio station, Hot 97, that you feel can make a difference in the world with all of these experiences that you have attained?
Something in the world that could be changed based on working at Hot 97.
That you can make a difference in the world with that experience that you accumulated for years. You've been holding it down.
Yeah.
Like self-righteous moment, like just hearing in on you, because it seems like you are the one with the most righteous things to say, when you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
and you can be hated for, like, people would call up this station and bash you for saying the righteous stuff.
Oh, let me tell you, I get abused. I get crucified up there, for sure. But you know, I try to, again, you know, I don't hit them as heavy and steady as like we having in this dialogue, because they not, you know what I'm
right
saying?
No, in there.
Yeah, we got to talk to the masses, people just trying to get to work. So I slip it in here and there. But, you know, one of the things when I first got on radio that they said, two things they was learning when you get in the studio, they said, no matter how many people are out there and everybody thinks differently, whatever you're thinking, at least 100,000 people are thinking the same thing. Just listen. So just say it. You know what I'm saying? Speak it. You know, because there's going to be some people that's thinking exactly how you thinking, like, yup, just what he said. You know, another thing is that this is theater of the mind, you know, so paint a picture for the people, you know. because they're listening. So Nas was, is very skillful. Certain artists, rappers are very skillful at painting a picture with words. So as they're listening, bring them in and say your perspective. And the other thing too is that you have to have an opinion, right? Your opinion can't be mushy middle. Even if you feel somebody like you like, blue or do you like green? You really might be like, I like both, right? But in this moment, they're asking you to decide. And you might like green, 40, 60%, and blue 40. If you're gonna say green, you gotta say green with conviction if it's 100. I'm saying that's how it is on the radio, because nobody wants to hear somebody that's always like, well, I like green, but I like blue too, and some days I like green, and sometimes I like blue. And, I don't know. I kind of like both. I can't decide. They'll let you slide with that once in a while, but every day, if you want it like that, and you ain't got no conviction behind or passion behind what you're saying, nobody cares. So if I like green, I'm on the radio like, nah, it's green. And they like, but you don't like blue? I ain't say all that. I like green. I'm saying green is where it's at. Green is the trees, green is the herb, green is the smoke, green is the grass. I like green. I'm saying, but I'm gonna say it with passion. People, I can't believe you don't like blue, whatever. But you gotta say it with some conviction in order to be compelling, right? So in that, what I've learned in terms of like this, thousands of people that think how you think, that you gotta say things with a certain amount of conviction. I just approach the radio with that same type of passion. And though they speak predominantly on politics and mainstream things, what I do amongst this five is really just let people know that one of them is up here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to hit all the politically correct pieces that they hit. I'm able to just kind of like let people know that somebody from the ground is in the room, and slide little things in just so that they can relate to it. You know what I'm saying? So that they can connect to it, and sometimes I become the outcast because of that, but
right.
I know in the radio piece, and there's a lot of people that it resonates with, that they'll be like, yo, we see you, son, we hear you, you know what I'm saying? Like, we with you. And that makes them feel a connection, which, as I stated before, from small and through music, has always been about relatability and people feeling like they're not alone. There's always been a thing of mine, like, you don't want people to feel like they're alone, because there's mad people thinking what you're thinking, but you don't know it because you might not be in those circles, or you might not have met the right friends. So I'm putting it out there to let you know what you're thinking, you're not alone. I'm here with you. I'm saying the same things that you was thinking yesterday, or the same thing that you dreamt about, or the same conversation you was having with that person. I just said it on the radio, so that you could hear it and feel empowered by it. Like, word, I was just thinking the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And that will give us strength.
That I commend you for. That's what we need for us here in the room. The things that we talk about every day, that, you know what I'm saying, you may not be able to hone in on that station, but you step in and you just be like, you'll say it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now I say it with a little one-liner here, there.
Right.
They know it. They hear it. They see through it. I'm saying it. As a joke, but a serious joke.
It's true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not saying that wrong, but you do have a perspective too.
Right.
So
yeah. So when they was pushing the value heavy in every radio station and every news channel was pushing me, and anybody took the lease, and that's your choice. But I was letting them know this was my choice. So when they was pressing, take the shot. Without me having heavy debates with them, I was just like, yo, the only shots I'm taking is ginger shots, wheatgrass shots.
Yes.
They laughing, ha, ha, ha. But that's me sliding a little truth in there. And for those that hear me, they know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They know I'm emphasizing, he talking about natural. He's saying he with the V and stuff. He trying to make a point, and I didn't have to say much just by saying it, but I'm saying it as a joke. Or ginger shots, I said, that's it. All I want is a ginger shot. Give me a little ginger shot, a little wheatgrass. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Give me a little bush. They like, all right, and they keep it pushing. But for those that know, they hear it, they know what I'm saying.
Right. Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing.
Again, to let them know one of us is in the room. You know what I'm saying? So they like, all right. You know what I'm saying? He updated. And I saw when the station came at me too, like, look, you're gonna have to take this. You're gonna get let go. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, I'm not taking it. You know what I'm saying? And really there's a large voice of people out here that feel the same way as I do, and there's nobody on mainstream radio, TV, or any place that's speaking from my perspective, that's speaking for those people. You know, I said, for me, I don't even have to really talk about it. I could have easily just been like, you know, I ain't taking it and kept it low. But I used to get at these debates really just so that, because, you know, the vote piece was a heavy piece where people really felt like they were by themselves, you know. So I took a lot of smoke on that one, just really for the listeners. People be DMing me like, yo, we feel sorry for you. We heard them ganging up on you today, but yo, I hope you don't fold or don't break. Don't let them shake you. Them niggas ain't shaking me.
Man, listen. North Shore had to pay that 10 mil. What they saying now?
Right.
No, they quiet. They quiet.
Yeah, nah, we need the same energy.
Yeah, we need the same energy.
Exactly.
Keep that same energy. And that's where your voice will be louder, Shani. I already know. Because I was feeling for you too. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. But I would take it, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, again, in being strategic, you know, I would say certain things opposed to it without beating them down, because a lot of it too was based on faith, because they didn't want to research anything. For them, it was in Fauci we trust. You know what I'm saying? The president saying it, Fauci saying it, the doctor saying it. You know what I'm saying? You can't give me any food from a doctor that's of a reputable status that we can validate. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I told my job, look, the God in me says no. So that's really where it's at. So take that information and do with it what you must. And
Right.
It was what it was. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say something here, so that way the people can hear this while we talking. There's a video out there that surfaced from Fauci, I think in like 1985 or something like that, with him talking about natural immunity, and he was like, "Yo, you know, the best natural immunity is getting infected and recovering from it naturally." He said this back like
he said the best vaccine like is to be infected. Yeah.
Right. He said right, exactly. He said, and then the person asked him directly, so should the person that dealt with this take the shot next week? And he said, no, not at all, because once she recovered, no, not at all. You know, so it's a different time now, of course, with variants and stuff now, but still, nonetheless, that they was talking about the flu. So I just had to cut that in there, just for the people that didn't see that video. I'm gonna make them search for it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of you know, the doctors and professionals and the WHO and the CDC and things of that nature that were saying things where the science, quote unquote, changed, right? And their perspectives changed on it and altered, and they were like, well, you know, things changed. All right, well, that was why a lot of us were hesitant, because y'all weren't sure. But you coerced us through donuts and $100 bills and lotto tickets and cruises and our jobs, our well-being, our whole livelihood, you know, to take something that y'all weren't sure of yet. And we just wanted a little bit of time, you know.
But see, what gets me is that I don't understand. Like, I don't know if people pay attention or are they just in denial? Because you have some people who pay attention and they're just in denial. Like, you see it, you hear it. Because this man, Fauci, Bill Gates, and all of them, they had a TED Talks in 2015 and 2016 stating what they were going to do. So they were telling you what they were going to do 7 years ago. And it's like, is people really paying attention to that, or are they just comfortable with being enslaved? You understand? It's like, what's wrong?
Well, they are comfortable in being enslaved, because as we know, there was a lot of slaves that once they were free did not leave their plantation because you know, it's just easier. And again, people mainly pay attention to the loudest voice. So if you see that this thing in bold letters says this, but the fine print says that, people just gonna pay attention to the bold print. You know what I'm saying? And not the fine print. So they're seeing the evidence is there. They put it right on the box. This is toxic. You know? But they'll ignore it for what is the broader message, which is take it.
Oh, I want to commend you for being the voice for us, for the people who understand what's going on in the world, and you know what I'm saying, and the position that you stand in. And I'm proud of you that you stood on your square, you stood on God's words. You understand? And you stood on the truth, and you still riding out. I appreciate that. And I appreciate them for allowing you to have a say and have a voice. You understand? Because they could have said, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, they could have did whatever. But, you know, right. But there's no reason to. They know the truth. There's no reason to. Like, you put in too much. You know what I'm saying? You put in too much. And you right. You are. It's very few of you standing on that square in mainstream. Right. So yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Salute.
Take that.
Salute for sure. Salute for sure for that.
Thank you, yo.
Yeah,
man. That's the vibe. All of us do our part.
Oh, you saying something?
Nah, I just said all of us do our part, you know. But I appreciate that.
Right.
Great. All right, so we got one more question left. Before we get into it, if anybody has something they want to speak on, you know, anything they want to share or whatever, feel free to speak. It's a free floor for a second before we get into this last question.
Yeah, I got a question. So as far as like your relationship with God, like what keeps you consistent? Like how do you stay consistent and not like fall off?
That's a good question. I truly believe on some real warrior, you know, it's my duty, not on some like, you know, softish, like, it's a war down here, you know what I'm saying? And I came down here to get busy, you know what I'm saying, for real. In terms of like staying focused, like somebody asked me before, like, what's your light at the end of the tunnel? And it's that I know everything changes, you know, everything evolves, you know, that keeps me going on a daily basis. Whatever I feel today, it ain't necessarily gonna be the same tomorrow, you know? And I'm locked into that balance. Everything ultimately becomes balance. So even if it's really good, you know, sometimes it's going to get bad. And when it's bad, it's going to get good, you know. And that keeps me going to keep on moving, you know, and to stay forward. My connection to God, like, you know what I'm saying, I just know, you know, God is real. I was watching a documentary, I forget what it's called, the secret code of the pyramids that somebody put me on to. Very interesting. It's on YouTube. It's like 5 parts. There was this one piece with this original Egyptian Bedouin who got the messages, you know, stories through the griots, through time. And he was like, there's a lot of senses that we have. We only use 5 of them. But his ancestors, there's certain senses that they just knew. He said the kids, you just have to know. You know, and sometimes we overthink it. There's a lot of doubt that can be created. And when we first learn how to walk, we doubt ourselves because we're not familiar with what this balance of walking thing is all about. So we're fairly unstable when we first learn how to walk. But after time, when you just conditioned on this walking piece, when you wake up in the morning, you're not thinking how to walk. You just walk to the bathroom because you just know. You just know how to walk. You know what I'm saying? We don't think about walking. You'll think about walking if you get crippled in an accident and your knees is hurt and you now have to go through therapy. Now you're trying to focus and figure out how to balance all over again, and figure out how to walk all over again. And that may take you months. And you have to think about the concept of walking. But when you're in health, you just know how to walk. And you have to really just know. You know what I'm saying? And the connection with God that keeps me steady is I just know. You know what I'm saying? That it's real and that this is what it is. Like, I don't know when the full epiphany, you know, hit at what point. But, you know, the phrase of those who have eyes will see and who have ears will hear. You know, I've had experiences that to me were miraculous, you know, where I saw God very clear, you know, and some of us will call some of these things coincidence. But when the message is delivered, sometimes it's delivered for you to see it, and nobody's going to see it how you saw it. Everyone else might say, oh, that was just a piece of paper. But for you, you understood it and felt it different. And if that's what it took, you know, then that's what it took for you. I've experienced a couple of things and I searched for God. You know what I'm saying? I literally searched. You know You know what I'm saying? I wanted to find. I think I got super serious, to keep it a buck, when my daughter was in the womb, and I was like, damn, I'm about to be responsible for another soul that's going to be looking at me to guide them on how to be a person, you know what I'm saying, and to be the right type of person. So I got to know my ish, you know what I'm saying, and how I'm going to guide them if I'm just out here half-assing. So I literally searched for answers, you know what I'm saying. I spoke to the sky, you know what I'm saying. Dreamt about it, I read on things, and I just was looking for answers, and I would ask, like, show me something, you know what I'm saying, show me something. And I would look for those signs, you know what I'm saying, and I saw them. It came and it came clear, you know, and it comes through people, you know what I'm saying. People speak it, they say it, you hear it when they say it, you look at them like, oh, this, and it resonates different, it hit different, but you gotta lock in when that happens and use that as ammunition and blocks to your foundation. And those pieces have helped build me and stabilize me to stay in a line now. Granted, I fall off, you know what I'm saying? We in the flesh, and the flesh is weak. So there's bullshit that happens. And there's times that I've been weaker. You know, the pandemic made me stronger again. You know, I'm able to talk the way I'm talking in this conversation because of the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to be isolated in some respects. Because I was able to be away from the distractions. It reminded me of who I was. You know what I'm saying? You would have always heard some type of God somewhere in my conversation, but there's certain points that's even stronger, and distractions can take us away. So where I'm at right now is I only move with people that's in the same frequency, that only have the same type of conversations that I'm having. So I can speak on it with more passion and more steady because it's the only conversations I have at this point. You know what I'm saying? We all speak on the same level. You know what I'm saying? We all wake up with the same type prayer and pray to each other. You know what I'm saying? And speak on what's going on in the world so that our voices are just as loud as their voices. And that keeps me locked in. You know what I'm saying? If I got the wrong company, I'm sleeping with the wrong person, the wrong type of pillow talk, you know what I'm saying, the wrong type of people around me, it's going to distract me from the type of focus that I need. You know what I'm saying? So again, the separation of the pandemic allowed me to see things and people for who they were a little bit and refocus me. So a pandemic was a blessing. That 2020 vision that came with 2020, I appreciate it so much. And I'm not trying to let that go. If I could stay as strong and keep getting stronger, that's the goal.
Right.
Respect. That was a great breakdown. Thank you.
Bless.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, very, very well spoken, intelligent mindset that is needed, because that type of those type of breakdowns is what's gonna make people like focus. Like, dang, if they actually listen to it and grasp, you know, things you're saying, they'll want to do it for themselves. It's a well put together thing, man. It's good to hear from you. Good to hear this type of dialogue.
Yeah, and we could be warriors, man. We could really be warriors about it, you know. Like, you know, it's just when I think of you know, the story of Jesus, I'm like, yo, this was a hood dude. You know what I'm saying? Jesus was hood, man. Just keep it a buck. Like, you know, he rode with 12 of his dudes. They wasn't really about no nonsense. These dudes clearly was hairy, bushy men. They was about their God business. You know, they spoke with fire, but they turned up tables at the temples that was on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? When they came and tried to take Jesus, you know, in the story, his man Paul came with the cutlass and cut dude's ear. Like, yo, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't weak men. You know, they was about God, and they was realizing that this was a real duty and that there's a lot of obstacles out here. And there's a lot of people that's going to try to take you out. You know, so it's important, mind, body, and soul, to be prepared for anything that comes. And I think sometimes people think that being in the essence of God is weak. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say we could be warriors about it, because it's definitely not weak. You know, it's only the strong could deal with the type of discipline that it takes to be of that nature. You know, even the story of Mary was of the streets. Mary belonged to the streets. You know what I'm saying? When she was a prostitute, everybody was like, yo, how she rolling with y'all? I thought y'all was God people. You know what I'm saying? She's selling herself. He was like, if you ain't guilty, then bust her with a stone then. You know what I'm saying? Judge her. if you feel like you shouldn't be judged, you know, and he took her in because she was a real one. So you can't really take everything on face value. You gotta really understand the essence of people, you know. And again, I think you could be strong and I don't think even in the story of Jesus that he was perfect, or they want to play him in that light, or any of his crew, or Mary. All of us as God people, if we in the flesh, we're gonna be flawed because the flesh is flawed. You know what I'm saying? You walk past a nail in the wall and it's gonna cut your skin open. It's not perfect. It's gonna open up. You know, it's fragile. You know, so there's gonna be mistakes, but it's just important to try to stay in tune and be on it, especially in these times.
Another heavy hitter. That's all heavy.
Heavy hitter.
Heavy hitter.
All right, so we head to the end of the point. It's the last question of the night. We got Shani Culture. It's Creative Collection. What can make it better? Part 6. We here with a heavy hitter conversation, coming with solutions, coming with ideas, coming with the mindset and the confidence of young kings. And this is the type of talks that we need to have. I'm hoping that everybody that's listen to this, feel themselves getting them type of solutions that they need to step up and do something, as well as feeling therapeutic vibes. We need both aligning. We don't need just a talk about just talking. We need talks that actually show action, prove action, and talks that make people want to get up and be inspired and do something and go lead.
Lead by example. That's right.
Lead by example, exactly. All right, so we're gonna get into this last question. Quickie has sent me your Instagram page, you know, before we had to do the interview and everything, and then I seen your bio, and I was like, I gotta ask. She was laughing at me when I said this, but I gotta ask you this question about your bio. Like, what made you find out you from the tribe of Judah? What gave you that intel? Like, how'd you get that? I know you said your mother was a different type of spiritual being in your life, so like, I would like to know the answer to that question.
Well, tribe of Judah is Rasta. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Tribe of Judah comes from, you know, turning Rasta. And really, again, you know, like I say, I'm just a spirit of God. I come from, you know, God's essence, and I recognize that. And Rasta is just the road that I took. You know, I feel like there's many roads that lead to the Most High, the Almighty, you know, power that really controls and runs this whole thing. But you got to pick the road that connects to you and resonates with you. And Rasta resonated with me. And Rasta is the tribe of Judah. You know, when you go back to, I mean, there was a DNA test too. You know, almost Hausa and the Hausa tribe and I forget the other tribe, another tribe too, from West Africa. But a lot of them migrated from the east. But tribe of Judah, you know, that goes back to David. You know, David who slew Goliath. You know, these are documented stories from the tribe of Judah that came through. David had Solomon, who was one of the wisest kings in the land, who was also tribe of Judah in that lineage. And that proceeded down when Jesus started rolling back on the scene. He was letting them know, I come from the tribe of Judah, I come from David, you know what I'm saying, representing that lineage still, you know. And there was a promise, you know, in scripture where that David's seed would always reign, you know, no matter what. There was a promise that his seed would reign and would rise up, and any of the children or the descendants that came from David, if they didn't live by the laws, that he would make them pay for their iniquities and wouldn't rise up, but his promise would never fail David. And you will always see that lineage rise up again. And Jesus was like, I come from the tribe of Judah, King David, you know what I'm saying, the root of David. And then through Rasta, you know, Rasta, for some people don't know, Rastafari Makunen was a prince who was born. Ras means prince. Tafari is his first name. Makunen is his last, you know. And he comes from the tribe of Judah, the root of David, 225th rebirth of King Solomon and 226 of King David, which is again showing that promise coming to light. And when he was coronated, you know, he became king young, but when he was coronated to emperor, you know, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, he was the king of all of the kings in Africa, and the Lord of Lords, power of the Trinity, which is what Haile Selassie means. he fulfilled again that promise, and it just shows again that a lot of these things ring true, but they don't want us to let us know our power, really where we come from. So Tribe of Judah is Rasta, that's where that comes from, and showing the rank that I represent that tribe. When you see me, to know that this tribe we represent, and that's the tribe that I represented when I let even my job know that I don't take them injections. I'm a baptized member, of the Tribe of Judah, and we have rules, and anything else would be prohibited, in a direct violation of the covenant, and they have to respect it, because these laws were put forward before these governments were even built, which is why these other Jews are able to cross borders and do things because of ancient laws, and these are original laws, on scribes. I'd love to break into the Vatican and see what's really down there, see some of the things that was written, what I'm saying? But all these countries on every body of land across the globe respect and honor these ancient laws, because these were the foundations, and they don't break those. They don't allow those to be broken. So they pierce even through government laws, when you're a part of this. So Tribe of Judah is my tribe.
And that's how powerful it is, knowing who you are. Bro, you trying to say something?
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just going, show some respect. Like, that was a great breakdown again, once again, of course.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, that's the power, knowing who you really, truly are, like Zahn said, because they can't tell you nothing. They can't do you nothing. Like, once you tell them who you are, which they already know who you are, you just got to say it for yourself and know it for yourself. Right. They can't do you nothing. There's nothing that they can do to you, period.
Yeah.
So that's power right there.
Yeah, and a good tribute, just fine tuning that again to this pandemic that allowed me to, regain consciousness, I'll say. Fine tune it, scrape off some of the rust.
Yeah.
Before that it was like, I would say, like, what's that game, Twister, with all the different colors?
Yeah.
And all these different circles, stepping on the blue and the green and the red and the yellow.
You body parts everywhere. You're stretching you're stretching yourself out, trying to touch every color.
And you're thinking every color is for you, and that's a distraction if you're just out here. But the pandemic let me know with clarity that the red dots is for you. Saying that's where you step. Leave them other colors alone. And I only stepped on the red ones, and that kept me in line, kept me focused, and let me see that though I might have been walking on blues and greens at certain points, like, this is the time to filter all that and just stand where I'm supposed to stand. So all of those things help me, through these times, just stay where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. Well,
yeah, I think we always sleep like right before pandemic. We was kind of snoozing pretty hard.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic gave you a reason to wake up, to like, have something to go against. I feel like it's like, have something to go against, because it was not really nothing to go against. Everything was gravy. It was like, we in the club, everything was smooth, it wasn't no interruption on, regular programming. Everything was like,
it was like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think God just had to shake us up, like, put everything on pause. It was a lot of frantic going on. Like, it was too much. Everything was moving too fast. We were just going. I remember it was like a lot of pressure before the world shut down. And I felt like we didn't have no time. We didn't make no time to even just hug our own family members. We were just rushing to work, gotta catch a train, gotta get to work. I felt that pressure. I felt it. It was heavy. And I was like, something about to go down. Everybody felt it. So those of us who are in tune,
we was just living. I'm saying, we was just living. We was, keeping as solid as we could, but we was just outside living. It was, all good. But like you said, once the pandemic hit, it made you sit down for a second and you start asking people around you, like, yo, you see what's going on? Like, oh, I ain't even, wow, like, do you see what they just said? Or you see this bill that just got passed? Or you see what this vote that just popped in? You might not even been paying attention to it like that before. You know, so it's making people look around. You know, when the party, everybody in the club ain't paying attention to everything, but then they stop the music. You know, you might stand there for a second and wait for it to turn back on, but if they keep it off for a while, you're gonna start looking around and start paying attention. Like, oh, I ain't even see dude standing right there. When you see that hole in the ceiling, I didn't even see that before. We was dancing, we was lit. But now you seeing things, you know what I'm saying? So it's good to allow us to see some things, you know, pay attention on it.
Right. I also want to shout out your boy, Mo Olivier. He's a part of the Freedom Fighter movement and Educators for Freedom. And I seen you with him as well. And I wanted to big him up. I want to talk to him. We want him on here one of these days.
Yeah, get him on here for sure, because he got a lot. He got a lot to say, and he'll talk from a God perspective. But he gonna talk. He be studying these politics too, you know, because especially recently, because you know he's a teacher, and he been teaching for 23 years, and he decided he wasn't doing the vaccine, and they didn't take his religious exemption, and they let him go. That hit him in a different kind of way because they took his livelihood from him. They yanked his money out from him for his personal decision. When everybody yells, my body, my choice, he didn't have that choice. He started hitting the Educators for Freedom and hitting the streets, and he was outside protesting a lot, gathering people, and he ended up being one of the main voices at a lot of their rallies. And it made him do a lot of research. I talk to him like every day. It made him do a lot of research on these laws that he didn't know before. It was these laws that he thought was on his side that really betrayed him. I can have a very interesting conversation on some of the details of things that, you know, some of us may not be paying attention to.
Right.
So yeah, he's a solid dude.
Yeah, I want to dig into the laws with him because I hear him. His voice is very strong, and his story is strong. It's stronger because he's a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So big up to him. Yeah. And big up to you for holding him down and holding it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak to him. I'm gonna tell him about this. Tell him he need to get on.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, man. So, you know, it was great talking. It was a great conversation, great dialogue. I'm sure everybody's gonna love this conversation and get very, very motivated throughout the whole conversation. So that's wonderful. We here. It's your boy King Design. We here with Shani Kulture, Royalty, Squeaky Monroe. And we got our sponsors. Squeaky, you want to shout out our sponsors for the night?
We have Her Mama Greens, grow your own food at home. We have Nuestra Salud, get your herbs from Peru. And we have all the codes in here and on my health page, Squeaky Clean Juices and Gym. Shout out to Tyree, the developer, our administrator. Again, everybody in the room for listening and on the playback. We really hope that you understand that these are your freedom fighters fighting for your right.
Yes, sir.
And I thank y'all for having me. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing to be able to share. I really appreciate that.
No problem, for sure.
Your time, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shani. And if we need to follow up on you, we will be in touch.
Let me know anytime. It's love.
Yeah, because you got a lot going on, so we gotta stay. We gotta stay united front right now.
Yeah, and you know, at a later date, we could always touch different topics. Like I feel like this one, we spoke a lot about just kind of getting a foundation for, I guess, my perspective on things. Right. How I see it, but as you have other topics, you know, keep me in tune.
Of course, y'all hear that?
Right. Yeah, bless up.
All right.
Blessings, y'all.
What's up?
Blessings.
All right, one love.
All right, so we're gonna play a song and then we will come back. Design.
King Design. Oh yeah. Feels like a bad dream. Feel like the world's trying to take my self-esteem. Can't resort to anger, had to lay off the steam. It's that drama, God had to intervene. I made a choice to go against public enemy. To deal with misery, I fill cups of Hennessy. They dividing us apart by our chemistry. With no team on the field, that's a penalty. Treat that Honda keychain like a gold necklace. They say chill boy, I used to be so reckless. They putting no effort, there's no message. I went through trials and tribulations and learned my lesson. I'm a different breed, growing bigger like a mustard seed. Must you see, you ain't much better than your company. I told the truth, man, you ain't got a front for me. We could get this W, tell me what's it gonna be. Whole affairs in the world couldn't stop me from grinding. See the top of the mountain, I couldn't stop climbing. It get cold outside, and I can't stop the climate. I got used to the kitchen, now I don't really mind it. I done been in some scuffles, though my vision's declining. See, I stood up for me, now my vision's aligning. I had a couple haters, cause they vision dying. I don't do the crying, keep grinding, my hustle mighty. Praise God, I ain't perfect, but I go hard, your facade. Here's a joke, pull your card, with a stroke of your odds. Your destiny full of integrity, I keep my head high. They know that they cannot mess with me. I switched routes, now I can live with no doubts. Can't compromise, now I'm down to go miles. Take you to a higher power, still love the style. I'm still king and I still don't mess around. I'm here to help my brothers, I'm here to help my sisters. Man, you should quit now, you can't stop this mission. We kings and queens, tell me now what's making a living. I was born gifted, I'm just taking what's given. I'm full of passion and purpose. In my heart, if I ain't serving, I'm worthless, so I keep working. I'm trying to make you see that you shining like diamonds of bliss. We used to be slaves, well I tell them crimes is a risk. I told them truth in time for the myth, now I'm moving swift. No way, I couldn't miss, gotta attempt, I'll be a shrink. We gotta go and win. Trying to find this life through sin.
Yeah, King Design, man. I don't stop, man, I keep going, man. So tell me to keep going, man, so I'm keep going. Keep working. Keep faith. That's it, man. Listen.
Alright, that's a wrap for How Can We Make It Better, Part 6 with Shani Kulture, King Design, Royalty Monroe. Blessing. Bless up. Bye, bye, bye.